Speaking on the subject of justice, Emperor Haile Selassie, the famous Ethiopian regent, statesman and founder of the Rastafarian religion and movement, said, and I quote, "Throughout history it has been the inaction of those who could have acted, the indifference of those who should know better, and the silence of the voice of justice when it mattered most. This has made it possible for evil to triumph." End of quote. Indeed, justice is the lifeblood of any sane society. You are watching Naptip on the Move. I am Emmanuel Okeke. Thank you for joining us. On this episode, we will be discussing the agency's gains and challenges in prosecuting offenders. It promises to be enlightening. Stay with us.
The Legal and Prosecution Department of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons works round the clock to obtain justice for victims of human trafficking and violence against persons by securing convictions in the court of law. The Director, Legal, Abdurrahman Okpotu Shaibu, sheds light on the different categories of cases handled by the department.
In the agency, we handle cases of human trafficking, as well as cases of violence against persons. For the cases of human trafficking, most of them are cases that are related to issue of child labor. They are related to human trafficking, child trafficking, and organized foreign travel for the purpose of prostitution. But high on the list, as regards internal trafficking, has to do with child labor, where children are being recruited from the villages and brought to the city centers for the purpose of domestic servitude. We can categorize that as up to 30% of the cases we are dealing with internally. The issues of recruiting girls for the purpose of taking them abroad for prostitution is very much high on the list, and that constitutes up to 40% of the cases we have secured commission over. Then we also have cases of defilement of children. That also constitute up to 20% of our cases. Mostly in the north and also part of the south, it happens, where children that are maybe let loose because some people make their children to go and hawk on the street or to do some other menial work, thereby exposing them to these pedophiles who also engage them, try to take them to hidden corners and deal with them in that manner. So once such information gets to NAPTIP, we take it up and we take it before the competent court of jurisdiction and have the case tried.
He then shared some cases on sexual exploitation.
The case of Attorney General of the Federation versus Uche Ashe. This one was determined by the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Underage boys were taken by this particular suspect, and he was defiling them, until we got him arrested, prosecuted him before the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt, and the court jailed him up to 10 years imprisonment, because apart from defiling them, he was also using them as beggars on the street, and they were able to get wind of it, and the boys were rescued, and up till now they are being assisted as well. So, but he was jailed 10 years imprisonment.
a case of human trafficking for labor exploitation was not left out.
So another case we'd like to let the public be aware of has to do with the case of Attorney General of the Federation versus Hassana Ibrahim. This is a case that was determined by the Federal High Court in Kano, where the suspect procured 23 children from Kwara State to Kano for purpose of forced labor. The accused person was also arrested, tried, and was convicted.
The Director, Legal and Prosecution, then recounts some cases of human trafficking handled by the agency.
We have a particular case in Pond. It is called the case of the Attorney General of the Federation versus Sarah Okoya. That case was determined by the Benin High Court and were able to secure the commission of the suspect. That suspect actually, arranged for about 6 girls to be taken away from Nigeria to Benin Republic. She promised them that she's taking them to Spain. But then while they were in the Benin Republic, she now tell them that they have to engage into prostitution. The girls refused and said, look, that was not the promise. You said we are going to be 6 girls in Spain. And eventually one of them was able to get the attention of the Nigerian embassy in Benin Republic, and who went and rescued them. That was how they were rescued and brought to Nigeria to Naptip. So from there, we took the matter to court and they testified against the trafficker and she was jailed. Another case in point has to do with Attorney General versus Felicia Okafo. This is a case that happened in Anambra State, in Oka. A mother that took her daughter and 2 other girls to Senegal for the purpose of engaging into prostitution. So those ones too were rescued and eventually brought to Nigeria, and the mother also, along with her accomplices, were tried and convicted. Another case has to do with the case of Attorney General of the Federation versus Christy Ebuke. This is a case that was handled by the Federal High Court in Sokoto, where the lady procured some girls for the purpose of foreign travel, which promotes prostitution. The accused person was sentenced to imprisonment of not less than 5 years in jail terms. Incidentally and luckily enough, it's not necessary for the evidence we have gathered to have been concluded, meaning that it's not that person will have been sexually exploited. Once we attempt to, or there are preparation for you to exploit a particular victim for the purpose of sexual exploitation abroad, and we're able to arrest and intercept such persons, we rescue the victim. The next thing is for us to prepare such cases and take to court.
The agency also handles cases provided for in the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act.
One area that is also, given to NAPTIP as its own mandate has to do with violence against persons. Even though it's only applicable to the FCT, it is a very big and huge task for NAPTIP to be able to tackle, because a lot of things are happening in our homes, in the neighborhood where these children are being violated at random. The Director General of the agency, Julie Okadole, has actually gone to Kaduna State, where a program to train the prosecutors on this crime has taken place. So we have done a lot of activities. We have also produced the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act laws. It has been gazetted now, so we don't have problem in citing that law.
Giving a breakdown of convictions secured by the agency, the Director, Legal and Prosecution, also stated some of the challenges.
So far, NAPTIP has been able to secure a conviction of not less than 359 persons that are serving different jail terms here in Nigeria. And in the last 1 year, we have been able to secure the conviction of 47 persons serving different jail terms. We have a lot of cases too that are pending in court. The cases pending in court right now are over 200. The larger part of it is coming from Lagos axis, followed by our office in Benin City, then followed by our office in Uyo, then Abuja as well. So we have more cases too that's also pending at the Sokoto axis as well as Kano axis. We are so much very grateful to the judiciary. The judiciary is very much up to the task in trying to dispense justice to all and sundry. We are happy that we'll be getting their cooperation. It can be better, so to say, because these cases actually require timing. And once there's any delay, it destroys our cases. So we have cases where we file cases in court, and because of one thing or the other, the cases get delayed, and the victims, when we reunite them, because we need to reunite them with their family, after a while, we'll be told that that victim has been married out. And once they are married, they find it difficult to come back again to testify because actually their status has changed. They want to move on with their life. So that's why when we file cases, we are always impressing it on the judges or on the courts to please give us accelerated hearing. For us in the prosecution department, we are always ever and ready to go to court with some of these cases. And we also want to encourage Nigerians to also make themselves available to testify because we have challenges in terms of proving our cases. Some issues or cases that we are dealing with, some of the people that are supposed to support us want to make it a family affair, like issues of rape. When it happened, before we know it, some people will gather and say, please, it happened in the family, it's the father that did the crime, so we want to settle it in family way. We discourage that. We discourage Nigerians. Once a crime has been committed, please let the law take its course to conclusion. Because apart from your own case that we are handling, it will also serve as deterrent to others.
Nigerians are advised to break the culture of silence.
We are encouraging our victims that NAPTIP is there for them. So when we ask them to come and testify for us, they should not feel reluctant because the justice is meant for them first. It's also meant for other children that may be violated or that whose right may be trampled upon. So that's why they need to cooperate with us. That as you are assisting NAPTIP with your evidence or with your testimony, you are also helping your fellow children who may be violated. So that's why we require their full cooperation anytime we have cases in court. The society, particularly the parents will always plead with you. First and foremost, protect your own children. Guide them properly. Let all those children who are of school age be in school. All the government have been doing their best, both at local government level, state level, and federal level, are doing their best to ensure that the education is free. So if they are literate, they can read and write, then it will be a very big task for any trafficker or criminals to trample on their rights. So we are pleading with our parents and guardians to try and do the needful. And like we said earlier, please give us information when all these issues happen. Because we are ready at any point in time. The agency has a rapid response squad that receive information either through writing, through internet. So whatever information we get and whatever means we get the information, we strike. So that is why we encourage Nigerians to always be forthcoming to the agency to make a report to us.
Justice must not only be served, but seen to be served. Every victim deserves justice. So if you see something, please do not hesitate to testify in court so that criminals can be kept where they belong, behind bars.
Are you a victim of domestic violence, sexual abuse, rape, incest, child abuse, and labor exploitation? Don't die in silence. NAPTIP implements the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act of 2015 VAP. Report all cases of violence against persons to these hotlines: 0703 00 00 203 or 0802 255 627847. NAPTIP, ensuring a human trafficking-free nation.
This is indeed a call to action, as the burden of proof lies on the victim for every source of credible evidence. Our event segment is next. Keep watching. The Director General of NAPTIP, Danjili Okadonli, and her team visited the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, Engineer Saleh Dunoma, at his office in Abuja to improve on existing partnerships. Commending the efforts of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria in the fight against human trafficking, Danjili Okadonli then listed new areas of partnership.
Our relationship between NAPTIP and FAN is very strategic, bearing in mind the functions of the authority as a gatekeeper of the nation. We are requesting for sponsorship, for training and capacity building for all first-line workers of the authority on profiling and identification of potential victims of human trafficking, specifically in the major international airports in the country. We're also requesting, sir, for a NAPTIP desk, that is a desk officer at all international airports in the country, to enhance prompt service delivery, response, and attend to all inquiries, especially to stranded victims as well as international partners. We're also seeking for operational collaboration that will enhance prompt and unhindered interception of suspected victims of human trafficking on board any airline.
Responding, the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, Engineer Saleh Dunoma, assured the Director General and her team of strengthened collaborations to enable NAPTIP carry out its mandate effectively and efficiently.
While we try to execute our responsibility as airport managers of the nation's airport, of course, we need to consider overall interests of government and the nation. And in trying to execute our responsibilities, we take this also as part of our responsibility that other sister agencies of government must succeed in their assignment. These considerations are continuous, and we continue to work with all government agencies to make sure that their statutory responsibilities are executed as far as airports are concerned. And NAPTIP will not be left out. We will continue to collaborate with you based on the needs of the day, based on the provisions of the law, based on overall national interest.
The agency's collaboration with the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria is essential, as the airport is a major route for human trafficking. The chairperson of Enugu North Local Government Area, Ethel Ono, collaborated with NAPTIP to organize a sensitization campaign to educate the rural women on the dangers of human trafficking, child labor, and child abuse. Representative of the NAPTIP Enugu Zonal Commander, the Head Public Enlightenment Unit, Chidiebere Oruro Ifudu, enlightened the women in their native dialect. The chairperson, Ethel Ono, then commended the agency's efforts in the fight against human trafficking in the southeastern zone of Nigeria. Grassroots sensitization is a cardinal strategy adopted by NAPTIP to reach rural communities. To further strengthen collaborations in the fight against trafficking in persons, the Director General of NAPTIP, Dame Julie Okadonli, recently received the Executive Director of the National Agency Against Trafficking in Persons, Gambia, Tulei Jawara, at the agency's headquarters in Abuja. The Executive Director of the National Agency Against Trafficking in Persons, Tulei Jawara, who commended the efforts of NAPTIP, stated the purpose of her visit.
Basically, the purpose of this mission is to try and see how we can collaborate. It goes without saying that NAPTIP is the first agency or trafficking in persons agency in the sub-region, the first with the act of TIP, and the most established agency in the sub-region. I do work with counterparts, and I think NAPTIP is way ahead of every agency in the sub-region. So for that reason, I think I would want to work closely with you to try and see how we can adopt best practices and work towards combating TIP.
Welcoming the Executive Director of NAPTIP Gambia, the Director General of NAPTIP called for closer collaboration and information sharing.
We cannot do this job without collaboration, and this fight against human trafficking must be done in a coordinated manner, otherwise it will be an exercise in futility. I would like to see us work closer and better as time goes on.
She also discussed on signing a memorandum of understanding and awareness campaigns. Effective collaborations with national, regional, and international bodies is cardinal in the fight against trafficking in persons, as it is a transnational crime. To stem the rising tide of human trafficking and irregular migration, the NAPTIP Enugu State Zonal Commander, Comfort Aboko, in collaboration with Nnamdi Azikiwe University, the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, and Civil Society Organizations Network on Migration and Development, held a sensitization and awareness campaign tagged "The Dangers of Irregular Migration" at the university premises in Oka, Anambra State. The Honorable Federal Commissioner of the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, Sadiya Umar, said that bringing the campaign to the educational sector and involving the youths will go a long way in reducing irregular migration. The NAPTIP Enugu commander, Comfort Agboko, then warned on the ills of irregular migration and its damaging effects on the nation's human capital development. She further advised students to overcome the temptations of engaging in irregular migration. The sensitization and awareness campaign was well attended by many dignitaries.
NAPTIP On the Move is co-sponsored by the Rule of Law and Anti-Corruption Programme, ROLAC, funded by the European Union and implemented by the British Council.
It's time to learn from the experience of a victim. Don't go away.
When I came to Abuja 2008, I was 12 years. So my dad did not enroll me in school because I could not speak English. He asked me to stay for a month so that by then I can speak English. So when I learned how to speak English, my dad enrolled me in primary 1. Things were going well. I was going to school. When I was in primary 4, then I was like up to 14 years because my stepmother, she sells ice block. She normally go to work around 4 in the morning. So when my stepmom have gone to market, my dad will ask the other one to go and fetch water. But I'll try to tell him that let me join them because I'm a girl. He should not be pampering me, but my dad will refuse. But when they have gone to fetch water, my dad will come down from his bed. And the first day he started, I thought that was the end of it. I never think of saying anything, but I was never happy, but I was sad. The thing continues. So anytime I come back from school, if nobody is at home, my dad will force me. He will have sex with me. And if I refuse, he will beat the hell out of me, or he will say that I should not eat from morning to night unless I give him what he wants. And me, I will refuse. Sometimes I will run out of the house. I'll just go and sit down on my friend's house. We'll be playing together. My friend will be forcing me to go home, but I will refuse. Instead, I will leave the house and go to another house. My neighbor were sitting in the front of our house when I entered with my school uniform. Then my daddy locked the door. He asked me to lie down. I told him that I'm on my menstrual pain, that I should I'm on my mens, that I should just leave. My daddy refused. That afternoon, he had sex with me, and then I was shouting. I was not shouting. I don't know that my neighbors were aware. Even before then, they were aware of what my dad is doing to me. But because of he's a police officer, they are scared of him. They don't know what to do. The next morning, which is on Monday, they are supposed to resume back to school. Two of my neighbor, and our landlord wife, they came. They now took me to police headquarters and narrated everything. When they rushed me to the hospital, the nurse there tested me, and they now confirmed that what I'm saying was true. That the nurse now told me that I'm lucky that it's very small that I will be pregnant. But lucky I was not pregnant. They took me back to the police headquarters. The woman now asked me that, will I go back to my parents or I want to go to school? I said that I don't want to go back. All I know is that I want to go to school. If there's any way they can send me to school, that I want to go to school. Then they now told me that they will bring me here to work lab. Now I'm in SS2. I'm so happy for work lab accepting me, and I'm grateful. I'll never forget work lab, and I'll put my best in my education to make sure that I achieve what I want to become. I am 20 years old and I'm in SS2, and I want to become a lawyer.
For more enquiries and support, or to report cases of suspected human trafficking and child abuse, please call NAPTIP hotlines on 0703 0000 203 or 0800 2255 627847 or email info@naptip.gov.ng. Visit our website www.naptip.gov.ng. follow us on our social media platforms at NAPTIP Nigeria and watch our videos on YouTube.
We've come to the end of today's episode. Please say something quickly when you see something. Time is of the essence in gathering evidence. I am Emanuela Okeke, and I hope to see you again same time next week. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.